Hi, I'm Mindy Peters, the Solutions Manager at SPI, and in this video, I am going to show you how to get a Slack notification anytime someone joins your community. You could also use this process to get a Slack notification anytime you make a sale. The tool we'll be using is Zapier. Zapier is going to allow us to look for notifications on someone joining our community and then trigger out a Slack message. You can use this process with a free Zapier account. So let's jump into Zapier and I will show you how to set up the Zap. Here I am in my Zapier account and I am going to click Create Zap. Now the Zap that I'm setting up is going to give me a notification anytime someone joins my Circle community, specifically anytime someone joins the SPI Academy Circle community. The first thing I'll do on my Zap builder here is give it a name so that I don't forget to do that later. And when I name my Zaps, I like to be very specific about kind of what is the outcome here. Okay, so I've given my Zap a name. The first thing I need to do is figure out what is the trigger. And so in Zapier, the trigger is the thing that kicks off the automation. And in this case, my app that I'm using is Circle. So I'm looking for anytime someone joins my Circle community, I'll click on Circle. And now I choose my trigger event and you can see all of my options here. And I am looking for new member added. So I'll click on that. And then in the next step, you'll just choose your Circle account. If you have multiple hooked up, you'll see them here. If you haven't hooked up your Circle community to Zapier yet, instructions will be on the screen for how to do that, as well as there are instructions in the Circle community for how to connect Zapier. And now under community, you will see all of the communities for which you are a member, but you'll only be able to build Zaps for ones for which you're an admin. So I'm going to click on this. And I'm choosing my community and I'll hit continue. And now I want to hit the test button and Zapier is going to look for a recent new member who joined and pull that data into Zapier. So then Zapier will pull in the record of somebody who has recently joined. And you can see that information here. We're blurring out the personally identifiable information, but you can see the types of data I have access to now. I will scroll down and hit the continue button. So your trigger step is complete. Now we need to go on to the action. And this is what Zapier is going to do when that new member joins. And in this case, we're going to send a message over to Slack. So we've chosen our app, that's Slack. Now we need to look at the events available to us. So you can see we've got a variety of message options here. I could send a channel message, I could send a direct message, I could send a private channel message. The one you choose is just going to depend on the type of channel that you want your message to go into. So I am going to send a channel message because it's going into a public channel within our Slack group. If you wanted to send a message just to yourself, you can use the send direct message, and then in Slack, you have a direct message option to yourself. You could choose that and just basically get private messages into yourself telling you when things have happened. But I want everybody on this particular team, everybody who's a part of that channel, to see this message. So I'm going to choose send channel message. And so I'm going to choose my Slack account from the drop down here. If you haven't previously connected your Slack account, there will be instructions on the screen for how to do that. And so now we're just going to walk through the builder here. We'll start at the top. I need to pick my channel. And you can just type in a few letters to search. Now we're going to build our message text. And this is where we can pull in data from the first step into this message. So I want to pull in my new member's name and I want to pull in some of their profile information so that that shows up in Slack. When that notification comes in, our team can read it, they can see who has joined, and they can click on a link and it'll take them straight to their profile. So when I click in this box, you'll see a little bit of data that's available to you here, but if you click on show all options, you'll be able to scroll through all of the data that Zapier has access to from Circle. And so if you want to add that information into your message, you'll just click on it. So if I want to add in my member's name, I can click on name and that will get added to the message. So I'm going to go ahead and build my message here and then I'll show you what it looks like. Excellent. So I've built my message here and you can see that I've done a combo of a little bit of just static type text stuff that I've typed in that's going to be the same across every message. So the yay and the just joined academy. But then I'm pulling in all of these data fields. And for some of them, this person didn't have any bio data. They didn't have a website URL. But if somebody else filling it out has that information, that will show up here. And so this is what my message is roughly going to look like. You won't see the number one name, number one headline part. I'll show you the finished message in a minute. Let's keep scrolling down and we'll continue filling out these boxes. So yes, I want to send this as a bot. I don't want to send it as though it's coming from a person inside of Slack. I'm going to give my bot a name. And we call these our welcome bots. And if you want to, you can add in an icon, which I think is fun. It's any of your Slack icons. And you need to do it in this format with the colon around it. Scroll on down and see the rest of our options here. You have the option to include a link to the Zap. And what that link will do is take you back into this specific builder right here in case you want to make any tweaks. I'm going to turn that off. We just don't need it for this purpose. You could attach an image if you wanted to, and if from, say, Circle, one of the things that they're providing you is an image URL, you could put that in here. I'm going to choose to not auto-expand the links because that can, if you have a lot of people joining, that can get really tall in Slack. I'll keep link usernames and channel names to yes. We will not be scheduling this. I want it to happen in real time rather than at a later date. But you do have the option, say, to postpone it by a day or so if that was relevant to you. Maybe you want all the messages to come in at the same time every day. You could include a file. I've never used that feature. If you wanted this to be part of a thread, so a comment in a thread, you would need to get the timestamp out of the message in Slack that you want it to go into. That's pretty complicated. What I would recommend, and what we've done here, is we've set up a completely new Slack channel just for these notifications. So that way they're not cluttering up a Slack channel where we're having a lot of conversations as a team. It's a channel that's solely dedicated to these notifications. And broadcast to a channel is not relevant here because this message is not part of a thread. I'll hit continue. The last step we have here is to just run a test. And so if I scroll down here, you can see test and continue is my option, or test and review. Test and review just keeps you on this screen. Test and continue moves you on to the next screen. I am going to run that test and it is going to show up in my Slack community. That'll make sure that I've done this properly. I'll hit test and review. And now we'll go over to Slack and take a look at it. So here we are in Slack and you can see the message. It's come in as the welcome bot, which is the name that I gave my bot. It has the little wave icon and you can see my user's name and some of their profile information. And then the reason there's a space here is because there was some data lines that were empty for this person. And then I have a link to this person's profile in my Circle community so that I could click on this and send this person a direct message. The last thing we need to be sure to do is go back to Zapier and turn the Zap on. Don't forget that step. I'm all done here, and so I will click Turn on Zap. You can also flip the switch here, or you could flip that little switch at the bottom, and we'll close that out. And now my Zap is on. And in this little success message, Zapier tells me how often this Zap is going to run. And that frequency is just based on your Zapier plan level. So that's it. I hope that this was useful to you. Now you can use this formula for things other than someone joining your Circle community. You could use it when someone joins a Facebook group or a different type of community that you have. Or you could use it when you make a sale, maybe when someone purchases a course or consulting in Teachable, or they make a purchase through ConvertKit. Any platform that connects into Zapier, you can use this to get a notification when that action happens. We're publishing useful videos like this every week, but there's a lot more advice over at our main website. Go to smartpassiveincome.com, and we've got lots of advice for helping you run an online business to help you with monetization and growing your audience. We'll see you over there.